We're here with Mrs Vivienne Bamgboye of Synergos Group. Nice to have you on the show.
Thank you.
Give us a little bit of background of what you do with Synergos and what Synergos currently does in Nigeria.
Okay, so Synergos is an international organization, and Synergos Nigeria focuses on agricultural projects. At the moment, we have a couple of projects running in Nigeria. We have the SPAR, which is the State Partnership for Agriculture. Currently, we're running in 3 states: Benue, Kogi, and Kaduna. And we basically support them in project management, in systems and project change, and in capacity building. We also have a support program at the Ministry of Agric, which I'm currently managing. And we basically manage and support the minister's team of advisors.
What, apart from supporting the minister's team and advisors, what other projects? Can you be more specific about the projects done in Benue, Kogi, and Kaduna?
Okay, so this State Partnership for Agriculture is actually a leadership support program. So what we do is we're like a strategic convener of different levels of management and leadership. And specifically, it's called system strengthening, because usually what happens at senior management levels is that there are powerful stakeholders who are working together to achieve a vision. So what Synergos does is to basically facilitate that process and help them to move from vision and translate their visions into action. So we are like the people who facilitate the process of helping you to make your vision come to life, give you whatever skills or capacities that's required to actually implement those policies, and ensure that those policies are monitored and they are also translated into impact for the community, the people that need to experience your policies the most.
So you work just with government organizations?
We work with government organizations. We indirectly work with public sector organizations, because what we do is we link them to government, because sometimes there's a lack of information. So we provide the information that's required for those linkages to happen. We also work with civil society groups, sometimes as project managers of projects that need to reach the grassroots levels. We also work with, sometimes we also work with donor agencies. So like, for example, our current projects are in partnership with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation.
Okay. Can you give us an example of one of the projects, like what it entails and what you're doing in one of the states?
Well, we're replicating a model across the 3 states, so it's the same thing. So the State Partnership for Agriculture is the process is actually engaging the most senior people in the states, putting them together in a kind of consultative group, and facilitating a lot of consultations. So we help them to develop their consultations. So the visioning process itself, thinking about what it is you want to do, coming up with the information, developing their capacity to develop the project management aspect itself, and then creating the environment where all the stakeholders can think as a team. So usually what tends to happen is that wherever you are looking at the problem or the situation from, you have a different view. So helping them to come up with a collective view of the issue and how it will be resolved. So it's a key aspect of that. That usually can take up to months, because it's quite difficult for them to all agree. And then when that has been done, we help them with the strategy. So developing the strategic statements and the strategic documents that are required, looking at the practicality in terms of cost, in terms of where the funding is going to come from, in terms of the time that is required and the kind of skills and capacities that is required. If there are certain that are external that need to be either borrowed or engaged, we also would serve as a support for acquiring or including those things. And then also the most critical part, which is the actual management of the project itself. that's also where we come in. So we actually manage that as well, and then help to record what is happening so that that can now be translated into some kind of evaluation process for the government.
How long have Synergos been in Nigeria?
About 3 years.
Okay. And how successful has some of your projects been?
Well, we've been very successful in all the states that we've worked in right now. We've actually had part of the work that we've done included in the Agric Development Plan. So for us, that is a huge step because none of those states actually had an AgDev plan before we started working with them. So raising the awareness of the importance of agriculture, getting them to understand that the business case for agriculture, and especially right now where most states are being encouraged to be self-sustaining, they're beginning to see how they can increase their internal generated revenue by focusing on agriculture and the key parts of agriculture that can help the state to increase their revenue. We've also been able to create some very, very valuable partnerships between public sector investors and states in at least 2 of the states as well.
You're currently working in the ministry.
Yes.
So do you think there's anything that policies or just assistance that government can do and make some of your programs sustainable?
Well, I mean, the most important thing really is the linkage. In other words, for the federal, because the thing is that the federal are the ones that their responsibility is policy formulation and creating an environment for the states. The states are the ones that have the capacity to implement. Okay. So it's really, the main thing is the linkage where both of them are understanding the impact that they're having. Okay. So for example, federal government at the moment is doing a lot of engagements around the use of land and ownership of land, which is a critical aspect of being able to implement at state and local government level. The other thing there, where the government has also become quiet, is in inputs and land clearing, which has been very, very successful as well. So Synergos is very, very focused on systems thinking, making sure that a lot of the issues or some of the potentials for growth in Nigeria can be accelerated by getting people to think as a system. And Synergos stands to ensure that people are convened in the right ways and the right tools for knowledge and capacity building is available for people at different levels.